Oman is a country of fascinating contrasts, with a remarkable balance between preserving its traditions and opening up to modernity. This nation on the Arabian Peninsula has historically been known for its moderate interpretation of Islam, which has created a unique space where Western influences can coexist with traditional Arab practices. In this context, Oman stands out as one of the most mysterious and complex nations in the Persian Gulf, a country that values both its cultural heritage and its integration into a globalized world. And now let's discover more details, so don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell because we're about to start. The country has undergone major transformations in recent decades, largely due to the visionary leadership of its Sultan, Qaboos bin Said, who ruled until his death in 2020. Under his leadership, Oman opened up to the world, but always maintained a pragmatic approach that allowed it to preserve its cultural identity without sacrificing the benefits of modernity. Islam remains the foundation of daily life in Oman, but the country has found a unique way to integrate external influences without these posing a challenge to traditional values. Public morality in the face of globalization. Like many other nations in the Gulf region, Oman faces the dilemma of how to balance globalization with its Islamic principles. While some Middle Eastern countries have adopted stricter policies regarding public morality, Oman has taken a more flexible approach, especially in areas like alcohol consumption and extramarital relationships. However, despite this relatively liberal stance compared to other Arab countries, Omani society still holds conservative views on morality, and the influence of religion on daily life remains strong. Globalization has had a profound impact on Omani culture, especially among younger generations who have been exposed to a wealth of external influences through the internet, television, and social media. In major cities like Muscat, Western influences are more visible, and Omani youth have more access to new ideas and lifestyles. This has led to a generational conflict between traditional values and modern aspirations, with many young people seeking a balance between the two. In this context, the concept of sin in Oman remains relevant, although the interpretation of what constitutes a sin varies depending on the individual and their social context. Omani authorities, for example, have adopted a more permissive stance on behaviors that would be considered unacceptable in other Arab countries, such as alcohol consumption in certain tourist areas or premarital relationships in private spaces. However, society still believes that public behavior should align with Islamic norms and cultural expectations. Sin in daily life. Despite the moderation that characterizes Oman, public morality remains a significant issue. Sin, understood as any act that transgresses Islamic teachings, is seen as a challenge both for the individual and for society as a whole. Omani laws are largely based on interpretations of Islam, and citizens are expected to adhere to these norms. However, the enforcement of these laws is not always strict, particularly when it comes to private aspects of individuals' lives. Prostitution is illegal in Oman, and the authorities have taken measures to prevent it from becoming a common practice. However, in more touristy and cosmopolitan areas of the country, such as Muscat and Salalah, where there is a high flow of international tourists, attitudes towards sin become more flexible. In these places, some people engage in behaviors that would not be accepted elsewhere in the country, such as alcohol consumption or extramarital relationships, but they do so in secret, away from public scrutiny. Sin therefore becomes a matter of space and context. In the more conservative areas of the country, adherence to religious norms is rigorous, and those who break the rules can face severe consequences. However, in areas where foreign influence is stronger, the norms are more relaxed and a greater degree of personal freedom is allowed. This flexibility has been an important factor in making Oman an attractive destination for international tourists, who seek to experience traditional Arab culture while enjoying a more liberal environment than in other countries in the region. Like and share this video because the best is yet to come. Omani youth, between sin and modernity. The most significant change in Oman in recent decades has been the behavior of the youth. Young Omanis, particularly those living in urban areas, are increasingly influenced by global trends, creating a generational gap between old customs and new lifestyles. Omani youth have access to a wealth of external information through the internet and media, allowing them to question traditional norms and explore new ways of living. The attitude of young people towards sin and morality is one of the areas where the most noticeable changes can be observed. preserved. While older generations adhere firmly to social rules and expectations, young people are seeking more freedom in their relationships and behavior. Premarital relationships, once completely unacceptable, are now more common. Though they remain a private matter, many young Omanis feel that society is changing and they must adapt to new global realities, while others resist change, arguing that respect for tradition is essential to preserving the country's cultural identity. Alcohol consumption is another area where changes have been observed among Omani youth. While alcohol remains illegal in many parts of the country, in tourist areas and some private spaces, young people can drink relatively freely. This has led to greater tolerance of alcohol consumption in certain contexts, although it remains a taboo subject in family gatherings or public events. This shift in attitude reflects the influence of Western cultures and their ability to penetrate traditional societies, even in countries like Oman, where social norms are stricter. Politics and authorities regarding Sin Oman's policies concerning morality and sin have been notably pragmatic. Unlike other Gulf countries that have adopted stricter approaches to public morality, Oman has opted for a more flexible and moderate approach. The Omani government has allowed certain external influences to integrate into everyday life, making the country attractive to international tourists and giving citizens access to a broader variety of products and services. Sultan Qaboos bin Said's leadership played a crucial role in this balanced approach. Under his rule, Oman managed to stay clear of the religious and political conflicts that affected other countries in the region. The policy of openness and moderation that he implemented allowed the country to remain stable and thrive economically, politically, and socially. Although morality remains an important topic in Omani life, the country has shown that it is possible to find a balance between Islamic traditions and the demands of the modern world. The influence of tourism on public morality. Oman is an increasingly popular tourist destination, especially among travelers seeking an authentic Arab experience, but with a touch of modernity. Tourism has had a significant impact on attitudes towards sin and morality in the country. Tourist areas like Muscat, Salalah, and Nizwa are more flexible when it comes to behavioral norms, offering more freedom for international visitors. However, the Omani government has taken steps to ensure that tourism does not negatively affect the country's traditional values. Authorities have implemented strict regulations to control alcohol consumption and other behaviors that could be seen as sinful. Despite these restrictions, the country remains a place where tourists can enjoy a unique blend of the old and the new, the traditional and the modern. In conclusion, Oman is a fascinating country at the crossroads of tradition and modernity. While sin remains a central concept in daily life, its interpretation varies depending on the context in which an individual finds themselves. As Oman continues to open up to the world, it will be interesting to observe how the country maintains its cultural identity without sacrificing the opportunities globalization offers. Ultimately, Oman is a place where tradition and change can coexist, and it is this ability to adapt that makes it a unique country in the region. Oman, in its uniqueness, demonstrates that it is possible to find a balance between respect for Islamic traditions and openness to the modern world. Through pragmatic policies, the country has managed to maintain a solid cultural identity while adapting to global changes. In this land, where morality remains a central issue, new generations are finding ways to live their identity uniquely, without losing their connection to their heritage. In this way, Oman stands as an example of how a society can evolve without giving up what defines it, successfully navigating the demands of globalization while preserving its core values. In conclusion, Oman stands as a remarkable example of how a nation can balance its rich cultural heritage with the demands of a rapidly changing world. The country's ability to maintain its traditional values while embracing modernity and globalization reflects a unique adaptability. Through thoughtful leadership, a pragmatic approach to social and cultural issues, and a deep respect for its history, Oman has created a space where tradition and progress can coexist harmoniously. As the country continues to evolve, it remains a fascinating destination where the past and present meet, offering a vision of how societies can navigate the complexities of modern life without losing sight of their roots. Oman's journey reflects the broader challenge faced by many nations in the Gulf region, the pursuit of development without sacrificing identity. By maintaining its distinct cultural and religious foundations, Oman is not only preserving its legacy, but also paving the way for future generations to thrive in a globalized world. This dynamic balance between the old and the new makes Oman a true gem in the Middle East, where both both tradition and innovation are embraced, and the future is shaped with wisdom and foresight. Oman's journey offers a compelling narrative of resilience and progress. In a region where many countries grapple with the tensions between modernization and tradition, Oman has crafted its own path, showing that embracing change does not necessarily mean abandoning one's roots. The country's careful stewardship of its cultural and religious values, paired with its openness to the world, serves as a model for how nations can thrive in the face of global pressures while maintaining their identity. As Oman moves forward, it will continue to be a beacon of how tradition and modernity can coexist, shaping a future that honors the past without losing sight of the opportunities the future holds. Tell me what you like most about this culture, and of course, share with your friends, because we'll be back with more soon.